I have a question, and it's a question specifically for the gentlemen in my audience. Be honest, guys. Do you ever look at your sister or your cousin and think, oh my god, oh my goodness, what I wouldn't do to her, the good time I'd give her? No, me neither. But apparently there are some people in this country who think exactly that, as it's been revealed that 1 in 5 child deaths in a London borough are caused by parents being close relatives. Now, before I go on, there's no prizes for guessing which kind of borough this is in London and which group of people are responsible for it. You know where this is heading. A new report from the London Borough of Redbridge has revealed almost 1 in 5 of all child deaths in the area since 2008 were down to their parents being close relatives. Oh, that's so nice to think of. Oh. The council's report found that between 2008 and 2016, 19% of child deaths in the borough were caused by infants being born to consanguineous relationships. I hope I'm saying that right, I've never heard that word before. Marriage or otherwise sexual relations between couples who are first cousins or closer. Closer! Oh, I shouldn't laugh, but oh dear. The recording year of 2009 to 10 saw the highest number of child deaths in the period. Of all deaths in that year, the second greatest cause was chromosomal, genetic, or congenital abnormalities. Who's fucking their sisters? Come on. The Ilford Recorder reports the remarks of Child Death Overview Panel Chairman Gladys Xavier, what a name, who told the meeting there were ongoing education programs targeting Asian communities in the area to address the prevalence of incest, which the paper referred to as a continued problem. And by Asian, they don't mean your lovely Chinese student down the road who's studying engineering. No, not that Asian. The council has also asked local schools to emphasise the teaching of genetics to children. Oh, now we're going down a dangerous road. Teaching genetics to children, that sounds very Hitlerish to me, you Nazis. Genetics, no. We can't have that. The 2011 census found that 41% of Redbridge residents identify as Asian or Asian British. And the religious makeup of the area was 36.8% Christian, 23.3% Muslim, and 11.4% Hindu. Now this article just sounds racist to me, I don't know what you think. I refuse to believe that this is possible in our multicultural utopia that we live in. Concerns over consanguineous relationships in Redbridge focus around particular communities in the borough, with the report stating that the practice is most common among Pakistani communities, and the same pattern can be observed in Redbridge. Pakistani community, oh no, they're brown people. No! Why can't you say it's white Dutch or something? Oh. Of all child deaths in the area in the Time studies, 9% were to Pakistani ethnicity parents and were the result of genetic complications arising from having related parents. Oh, for God's sake. Despite the attempts to reach out to these communities, there was a concern the educational drive was falling on deaf ears. Oh God. Councillor Joyce Ryan told the board meeting, although everyone is battling hard at this, it is something that some communities struggle to accept and sometimes do not want to accept. It's because they enjoy shagging their cousins too much, obviously. And just so you can visualise this problem a little more, here's a graph, and I do love a good graph because it looks more professional. Here's a graph showing the cause of infant death by ethnic group in England and Wales. This is from 2005, so it's quite old, but still relevant. As you can see, congenital anomalies at the top. Pakistani communities way out in front. Way out in front. Now, in all seriousness here, I know I'm delivering this story with a sarcastic tone, and I know it's a serious issue because kids are dying here because of their parents being related. I've known about this for a while, not in as much detail. You see, I have a friend who is from Pakistan, or originally from Pakistan. Her parents are very conservative Muslims. My friend herself isn't a Muslim, she's an atheist, she doesn't believe in God, she's very Western. Although I think she still pretends that she's a Muslim to her parents because of said consequences. And I asked her straight up about this and she said, oh yeah, it's a huge problem. It's a huge, people marrying their cousins, having kids with their cousins in the Pakistani community, massive problem. Yet no one talks about it. I don't hear about this in the mainstream media, and why not? This is serious stuff. The Public Service Agreement infant mortality target has created a strong impetus for the NHS to implement strategies to reduce infant mortality, particularly in less advantaged groups of the population. These specific areas of action have been identified as potentially having the impact on reducing the infant mortality gap are as follows. Reducing conceptions in under 18s in the routine and manual, whatever the hell that is. Targeted interventions to prevent sudden unexpected death in infancy. Reducing the prevalence of obesity. Reducing overcrowding. Reducing the rate of smoking in pregnancy, increasing early booking for antenatal care, reducing child poverty. Well, that's all well and good, but I didn't see the bullet point that says you need to stop boinking your sister. You need to stop slipping your cousin the sausage, mate. That's not mentioned there. Why not? Just tap dancing around this issue. I wonder why. Scientific studies over the last 3 decades have linked first cousin unions to an increased risk of genetic disease. Yet it remains discussed only with extreme reluctance. Medical professionals fear being labelled racist, while individuals among the groups most affected are reluctant to be seen as disloyal. Yeah, you know what, your kids are dying because you're having sex with your own family members, but I can't tell you that. I can't tell you to stop doing that because I don't want to be seen as a racist. Just keep doing it. I'll just pretend it's not happening. Just keep doing it. Have more kids. Have more kids die. Ugh, fucking pathetic. 2% of the population in the UK is Pakistani or British Pakistani according to the 2011 census. Just under 1 million people. Estimates suggest half of marriages are consanguineous between blood relatives, a largely cultural tradition aimed at keeping wealth and property within families. Oh, well, that's a great reason to do it. Such marriages are also common in Arab countries in North Africa. This means a disproportionate number of children from these backgrounds are stillborn, die during childhood, or live with lifelong genetic disabilities. At great cost to the UK taxpayer, I'd imagine, but we'll get to that in a minute. Hundreds of such conditions, many of them so rare that they've never been seen in Britain, are now being diagnosed at children's hospitals. Typically, the effects include neurological problems, heart or kidney failure, lung and liver failings, blindness, deafness, and learning problems. You know what? I've changed my mind. Diversity is our strength. This is cultural enrichment because we're seeing diseases that we've never seen before in Britain. These immigrant communities are really bringing us new stuff. Oh, God love 'em. Figures obtained by the Mail on Sunday under the Freedom of Information laws reveal a huge challenge, not only for such communities, but also for the health service. And it comes with vast financial implications. The figures show that up to 20% of the children treated for congenital problems in cities such as Sheffield, Glasgow and Birmingham are of Pakistani descent. 20%, a figure significantly greater than the background populations, which can be 4% or lower. Birmingham Children's Hospital alone has seen the number of Pakistani children treated for genetic disorders increase by about as much as 43% since 2011. But that is Birmingham, and anyone who's been to Birmingham knows exactly why that is. It's barely a British city anymore, you know what I'm talking about. Officials admit it is impossible to calculate the cost of treating these problems, but there is no doubting the extraordinary scale of the expense, which even in 2004 was estimated at £2 billion a year. You know what? We're coming up to an election, and every election cycle, one of the big issues, one of the top 3 issues, it's always the NHS. It doesn't matter who's in power, who's trying to get in power. Always the NHS. How are we going to fund the NHS? Strangely, this problem never comes up. Never comes up. Maybe we could save billions of pounds a year by telling immigrant communities to stop having sex with their family members. Stop committing incest. How about doing that? No, we can't do that because that's racist. How dare we be so culturally insensitive? So you know what? We'll keep footing the bill to allow your kids to die from genetic disorders. How about that? That seems like a good arrangement. What kind of society are we trying to build here? Are we really going to put up with people growing up with mental, neurological, genetic disorders, disabilities, people who, because of their parents' actions, are going to be reliant on the state for the rest of their lives because they can't do anything, they can't work? The more we allow this to continue, the more we don't say anything about it, the more we create an underclass of this country who are completely reliant on financial handouts, on our welfare system. But you know, you can't say that. You can't say that in today's day and age. That's bigoted. You can't say it. First cousin marriages in Pakistani communities leading to appalling disabilities amongst children. First cousin marriages which are legal in the UK. What? Which are legal in the UK? Oh my god. Are practiced within Britain's Pakistani community as well as among some Arab and African families. Medical data previously suggested that while British Pakistanis were responsible for 3% of all births, they accounted for 30% of British children born with a genetic illness. Let me just repeat that for you. Pakistanis are responsible for 3% of all births in the country, but they account for 30% of children born with genetic illnesses. And we still can't talk about it. Nope, not a problem. Brush it under the carpet again. And the people who do try and speak about it are obviously attacked by the media. Professor risks political storm over Muslim inbreeding. Professor Steve Jones, one of Britain's most eminent scientists, has warned that the level of inbreeding among the nation's Muslims is endangering the health of future generations. And according to everything we've just read, that's correct. That's a correct statement. That's the truth. He said, "It is common in the Islamic world to marry your brother's daughter, which is actually closer than marrying your cousin. Closer, which is, fantastic. We should be concerned about that, as there can be a lot of hidden genetic damage. Children are more likely to get 2 copies of a damaged gene." Yep. He added, "Bradford is very inbred. There is a huge amount of cousins marrying each other there. Research in Bradford has found that babies born to Pakistani women are twice as likely to die in their first year as babies born to white mothers, with genetic problems linked to inbreeding identified as a significant cause. Studies have found that within the city, more than 70% of marriages are between relations, with more than half involving first cousins." 70% of all marriages are between relations. In Bradford, and once again, much like Birmingham, if you've ever been to Bradford, you wouldn't be surprised at hearing that. Mohammed Salim Khan, chief executive of the Bradford Council for Mosques, said, "It is important to discuss these issues, but I just do not know of any firm evidence backing up Professor Jones's claims. I think we need more conclusive studies so we can know for certain if there is a genuine risk. Marriages between cousins is certainly common within South Asia, but it's becoming less so in Britain and also in Bradford, really. Islam allows you to marry anyone you want, so in many ways, Islam promotes diversity." Oh, wow. Fuck me. Islam promotes diversity because it allows you to marry your family members and have kids with it. Well, I've heard it all now. I've heard it all. Who can argue with that? Thank you, Mohammed. Thank you, sir. You've really educated me. You've shown me the light. You've brought the balanced opposition view that we desperately needed on this subject. Thank you. Diversity is our strength. You're right. Isn't this story just fantastic? Isn't it amazing? Yet another example of this country and the people in it bending over backwards and taking it up the arse in the name of a multicultural utopia that will never, ever exist. No, we can't identify the problems with incest in Pakistani communities, in Islamic communities. We can't do that. No, that's racism. Yeah, that's racism, straight up. Straight up. How dare you? Never mind the genetic, horrible damage that the kids end up inheriting. Yeah, sorry Abu, yeah, your parents were brother and sister, that's why you've got no arms. Sorry about that. We just didn't want to say anything because we'd be deemed racist. Sorry. And not only the damage to the kids themselves, but the damage to society as a whole. Are we going to put up with this? Are we really going to accept this? The costs to healthcare? £2 billion a year, on estimate, it's probably more than that now. Creating an entire section of society that are dependent on handouts from the government, on handouts from social care, welfare, you bloody name it. Nope, can't talk about it, brush it under the rug, it's not happening, pay the bill for the NHS, get it over with, move on. You know what? I'm gonna say something incredibly racist right now. You ready? Prepare yourselves, here we go. Incest is wrong. Incest creates problems. Incest fucks up your kids. There we go, I just had to get that out. Sorry for being incredibly racist and bigoted there. I just had to say it. Had to get it off my chest. Thank you. Thank you very much for watching, ladies and gentlemen, especially to my Patreons, these lovely chaps here. I greatly appreciate the support you're giving my channel. If you'd like to support the channel too, my Patreon link is down below, as well as all my social media links. Once again, thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you next time.